What's going on YouTube? Heylow here, bringing you another Total War Warhammer 2 1v1 matchup. So today we're going to be playing some ladder, and we are going to be coming up against the vampire counts as chaos. So for the army composition today, we are going to be running Kolek the Sun Eater, a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. He's going to be using Fireball and the Flaming Sword of Ruin. Our front line is going to consist of 3 Chaos Marauders. Our mid line is going to be Chaos Warriors with great weapons, 3 of them. And then our flanks are going to be covered by 2 Chaos Warriors with halberds. Out front, we are going to have 2 vanguarded units of Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. So that's going to be it for our army here. Let's hop over to the vampire counts. So our opponent going really heavy on infantry, mostly just screening and chaff troops to slow us down, bringing some Graveguard in the back line and the flanks, and then he's going to be running Strigoi the Ghoul King. So definitely an unorthodox pick, but he's going to be flying around causing some trouble. But yeah, Tithe, some zombies, skeleton warriors, and the Konigstein stalkers. 2 Graveguard with great weapons, 2 Cairn Wraiths in the core. Dangerous pick, but it can do a ton of work if your opponent isn't ready with magic damage. Graveguard in the back lines, and the Sternsman. So yeah, Morris Engine at the core. Definitely not what I was expecting to come up against, but we'll see how we do here. So let's play. Alright, so I see my opponent's build. It's very thick on the front line. It's a little concerning because I am a little light on the infantry department. I've got my Marauders that I usually use to screen against things like this, but it's very overwhelming. That's a lot of models for 3 Marauders to try and deal with. So we'll get my Horsemen out there, just kind of start picking at the corner, see if he's just going to dedicate straight to the fight or if he's going to start breaking up a little bit. Unfortunately for us, he seems to be fully dedicated to just going for the frontline engagement. So he's just going to go straight full steam ahead. Strigoi coming out to do a little harassing. But yeah, we're going to get our horsemen with their throwing axes on the flanks. And he's going to drop the Spirit Leech here to get some damage off on Kolek, which is not a bad target at all. But I'm just going to kind of take this time to rearrange my line a little bit. I'm going to get my Marauders up on the front line, expand my flanks a little bit with my Chaos Warriors with great weapons, because he's probably going to try and wrap around with some Graveguard, and I'd rather take that engagement than get my great weapons stuck in with zombies and skeleton warriors and then being surrounded. So over here, my Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, just going to be doing some good chip damage on these Graveguard. Get my other one around the flank as well and start trying to do some damage against them. He has no answer to this other than trying to use Strigoi, but he's not really very fast, so I would just skirmish him out. So he's going to start pushing his front line up to try and force an engagement, and I'm just going to keep backing up. He's going to be coming in, but I'm not going to take this yet because right now he has the advantage. But he drops a Crypt Ghoul here to try and bog me down, and it definitely works. It catches my unit, so I'm just going to end up fighting here and turning about. In the back, Marauder Horsemen doing some decent damage, trying to go after the Sternsman here. You can see they've lost 4 models so far, but they're getting some good damage done on them. Just getting my Marauder Horsemen back here. Here I try to be cheeky, and I drop the Flaming Sword to give these guys fire and magic damage, and I try to get some good shots off on the Mortis Engine, but as soon as he sees it, he's going to be pushing out with Graveguard. So kind of a wasted opportunity there, but I have had that work before where I'm able to snipe it out really quick off the beginning because my opponent isn't aware of what I'm doing. So we take the engagements here. Got big blobs of zombies and skeletons coming in, and our Marauders are just going to be soaking up that fight, doing some good work against these. But yeah, over here we're going to have our halberds coming in just to kind of back us up. You can see Cairn Wraiths coming in on the flanks to try and get into my Chaos Warriors. His Graveguard end up really out of position, and he's got 2 back here that he's chasing with my Marauder Horsemen with, which is such a waste. Those units really need to be in the frontline engagement. If he was going to chase, he should have used some of his skeletons or something like that, but not Graveguard. But over here, yeah, this great weapon not getting engaged. He comes down with Strigoi, but this Mortis Engine has been getting absolutely stomped on by Kolek and my Shaggoth. We're just beating it down and gets absolutely tanked. He had no way of defending that from double Shaggoth, which is a problem. So Strigoi is down here now, and he's trying to get out because he cannot take this fight. So looking really good for us so far. Balance of power slightly tipping in our favor. So over on this flank, we're going to go a flank at a time, reinforce it, Flaming Sword of Ruin. Suddenly these Cairn Wraiths not going to be looking so good because we're going to be having some magic attacks on our Marauders and great weapons going into these guys, and they're going to get absolutely torn apart. But Strigoi coming down to try and get some charges and break up this flank here in return. Unfortunately, it's not really going to work out too well because they're winning all these engagements. So Kolek going to get in some great weapons. We're going to have our horsemen just kind of start going after Strigoi and harass. Really nice breath attack on my great weapon warriors. But halberds over here, we're going to push them out. At this point, it's really just like mop up the elite units where we can. And Strigoi is coming down. Unfortunately, we're not really able to get to him, so he's just kind of flying around out here away from my Dragon Ogres, which is definitely the smart move. And as soon as he sees that my attention is turned, he's going to get out of there. So definitely a good call from my opponent there. But his Graveguard are going to finally get in, and we're going to tie him up with some halberds. We don't desperately need them right now. The only thing they're going to be decent against is Strigoi or Chaff. So we'll bog those guys down. These regular standard Graveguard don't really have the best AP, so that'll be a fine trade. So Flaming Sword over here on this flank. Going to give our Marauders and Warriors with Great Weapons a chance to just kind of mop some of this stuff up over here. Try and get some damage in on the Cairn Raids. But yeah, his Graveguard finally getting back to the fight, coming around for a flank. We're going to be bringing our Marauders back in. Yeah, Strigoi trying to fly in, but he's just running out of targets here. Like, he's trying to get in over here, but you have halberds. He's trying to go after my Sorcerer. But yeah, it's definitely looking really bad for him right now. His infantry just isn't really holding the line. Our left flank and center are pretty much entirely secured. Lands a really good snipe here going after my Sorcerer, but my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth is going to be coming in to back him up. Gets a really good hit in, dropping that leadership. And he's not going to be able to like chase him out. So we're going to try and get our horseman into melee here and bog him down, but he's dipping out of there as soon as he can. So that's not quite going to work out. So Shaggoth is just going to move over to this flank to support while Kolek's on this one. We're just going to defend what's left of our infantry because at this point he has nothing left to deal with us. He's got some great weapons and a full unit of Graveguard. And Strigoi is up there, but he just doesn't really have what he needs to take this down. There's too much elite infantry. The Shaggoths are just way too high on health for Strigoi to try and deal with. But yeah, it's really just not looking good. Another Flaming Sword of Ruin dropping here so that we've got that magic and fire damage just to cleave through a lot of this infantry over here. Try and wrap up this blob. But he comes down with Strigoi trying to get another cheeky charge in, and it's just not going to work out. Opponent's going to concede defeat, fireball going in, and all of his infantry crumbling. We were just wrapping everything up too much. But yeah, we'll jump on into the kills here. So yeah, you can see 311 losses. That match went pretty well for us. He didn't have an answer to any of the skirmish cav, so they were just plinking away at his heels. And he had to force his advance up, and it pulled his Graveguard away, which was a huge win for us because it kept that elite infantry out of the fight and left him with only like Chaff and the Cairn Raids here and a couple Graveguard. But that was a big win for us, like really stalling off that engagement. Strigoi just didn't really have any opportunities to come down for good engagements because the Dragon Ogres were just all across my line, and he's not going to be able to beat them one-to-one. He's going to take a ton of damage, especially with the Sorcerer providing the magic support. So yeah, the Cairn Raids were a really cool pick. I liked them, but I just don't see them working at all against Chaos because Chaos always has a Sorcerer, and it's usually direct damage spells or like Burning Heads or Vortex spells, and it's just going to totally destroy them. But in this case, the Flaming Sword just giving my infantry what they need to be able to deal with them, and his Chaff just not really holding up well enough against the Chaos Warriors. But yeah, great game to my opponent. It was definitely a really cool build. I liked it a lot. The concept was cool. It just needs a little bit of tweaking as far as dealing with like skirmish stuff, and maybe just drop the Cairn Raids and go for some like light cab or something. Maybe some Black Knights. I don't know, something just like hound off skirmishers from your flanks, maybe some dire wolves. But yeah, great game. So drop a comment down below if you liked what you saw, or you can leave some feedback or suggestions for future videos. Maybe you want to see me play something in particular. I am going to be picking up Tomb Kings pretty soon here, getting some practice in, so I'll be getting them into the channel as well. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell button for some future videos. And that is it, guys. I will see you all next time.